back to Once More with Feeling and our campaign in Guruk. It has been a couple of weeks since we played last, and you may notice that the background behind me is very different than what you were used to. So, a couple of announcements before we start today. Would all of my players like to introduce themselves for everyone out there?
You didn't point at one of us. Oh no.
I'm gonna call on people.
I'll start. Hi, I'm Rose, and I play Cam, who's just kinda hanging around here because interesting shit happens here, so let's be here. They're a purple tiefling-looking person. They're an artist. They're very distracted, and they're having a great time.
Sounds good. May, do you want to continue?
Okay. We're juggling some things, but May can do it. Fig, I don't know. Can he juggle multiple things? No, he's a grad student. I don't think he can. But yes, he's a half-orc cleric who, I don't know, he's having some odd times in the woods. And, yeah, now there seems to be, like, weird black ooze various places that he is not qualified to handle.
Sounds very good. Now, Sunny K, would you like to introduce yourself and your character?
Hello, my name is Sunny K, and I play Yuka, a druid half-elf who is the Witch of the Woods and the steward of the primordial deities Lady Verdant and Lord Bastille. She has just woken up from a coma and is making some potentially poor decisions. We'll see. We'll find out.
But truly, what is you could not make poor decisions? Now,
she makes decisions.
Get started. I would like to do two things. I would ask for one of my lovely, lovely players or chatters to confirm for me that they can hear me and it is decent.
I could hear you when I opened it earlier.
Great. And then the second thing I would like to announce is that today's stream may or may not last the full 3 hours. I currently have reset some of the hardware and reset some of the stream setup for today. So if anything is to go wrong, because I am going to expect technical issues will occur, I might have to cut the stream early if those do happen. For now, though, we hope you do enjoy, and we are going to give you a small little recap about where we left off 2 weeks ago and where we are going today. So, would any of my players like to recap what they remember from our last session?
Yeah. I don't have my notes.
You don't have notes.
I'm
I just don't
vanished.
have my notes.
Okay. So what Cam remembers is that we gave the flowers to the doctor, and then they ran the fuck out of the doctor's office because no thanks. There were a whole bunch of black, I don't know, colored cables, and people decided to poke at them, which went great. I didn't get poisoned. I should have been poisoned. Life just kind of happens like that sometimes. Vassal was done with everything, which was amazing. He fucked off, thankfully. And then we met someone we don't know a name of yet, who I did like a dance with while I got some type of trippy vision. And that's about all Cam remembers, honestly. They're fascinated by the creature.
Val, what is their name? Because we heard their name.
They are the Tragic DMs.
Thank you.
Oh, yes.
I kept wanting to call them the Delirian.
Why the Delirian?
Don't worry about it.
Sure.
Oh yeah, and Jeremiah got sent to nowhere.
Yeah, Jeremiah got vanished. We don't.
Jeremiah, your friendly bandit that you had captured, and then healed, and then taken to the doctor, did in fact get teleported away as the tragedium appeared in the spot that he had been inhabiting. Now, I am going to just very, very quickly write down the results of those rolls I just rolled, because I realized I needed to do my beginning of session shenaniganery.
Here. Fear.
I'm
Oh,
fearful.
another element from last week. Vasil threw the item that was supplied by the merchant for Yuka into the woods, and it is now in a location that only Yuka can grab because she received an ill omen that anyone else who touched it, including the two primordial gods that she serves as steward, would potentially face dire consequences. Like this is specifically something that she has to pick up.
I would like to just edit that ever so
Yeah.
slightly because that is not quite the vision you received. And
I may be
misremembering. It's been a couple of weeks, which is why I'm going to give this one to you for free.
Yeah.
You were given a vision that if the Lord Bestial or Lady Verdant went, it would be an ill omen for them. You never received any information about anyone else picking it up.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep, that's just the one thing I wanted to clarify before you worked on that assumption.
Cool.
Some funny things are going to happen today. If I remember correctly where we left off last time, if everyone is ready to jump into game, you were stood in a clearing inside the old wood. Now, this clearing had a tree stump that had been hollowed out by a flash of lightning eons ago. And in the years since, this clearing had remained relatively untouched, except for by the hands and feet of one half-elf. Now, this clearing as well showed signs of life, showed signs of cultivation of small berry bushes, a root garden, things like that, but also of herbs, pots, tinctures, bottles of all sorts of texture and consistency lined the inside of this hollowed out tree trunk. And on another portion of the clearing there lay the remnants of a pod. Now this was a fungal pod, roughly egg-shaped, large enough to contain a humanoid inside. And it was an orange, very sickly, that to you, Fig, makes your stomach churn with unnatural energy. Or perhaps that's incorrect. It makes your stomach churn with natural energy. Just something that you are used to having grown up in a city. Rose, looking at this pod, you feel discomforted by it, as it is very clearly very, very old. Similar enough to some of your familial history that you can see through lines, druidic channels that have changed over the eons that you can just barely recognize but can't quite understand. Different entirely to where you spent your summers. Sunny K. Yuka. Yuka, this pod is where you had slept for the last few days. You still feel the hyphae of that pod down your lungs through your bronchial tubes, flowing within your blood vessels, turning, twisting, piercing into your musculature. Every step, every flex, slowly disrooting it. You will be left with pins and needles for a while, Yuka. Though it is of your goddess, so is it truly a bad thing? You three stand in this clearing with a fourth member, a bird, a kangaroo, stood there, rummaging through tinctures and pots, seeming to step out of the conversation for today. And there is an additional set of footprints. A relatively nice pair of leather boots, if a bit worn on the back heels. Deep imprints, scuffed, stretched. The imprints of somebody who was walking with purpose and then sprinting towards the edge of the woods. You all know that was Vassal, your previous bachelor companion, who had assisted you in resurrecting Lady Yuka. There is one other in the clearing. inside the clearing there is a massive kudzu, a vine that strangles everything it comes across. And you see this massive kudzu standing, resting just behind the pod from you all, pulling ever closer until suddenly you notice the pod as it squirts, and as that internal fluid that you had been stuck in Yuka begins to cascade out towards those vines as they begin to absorb it back into them. Yuka, you know that this is the Lady Verdict's. The rest of you would be able to very clearly tell that these are not normal plants, though knowing anything further would require a religion check or a nature check.
She bows her head in reverence.
Yeah, Fig might just do like a hot potato with his feet and scoot back a few steps.
Seems a great idea. Cam's just gonna not scoot back panic, but be like, yeah, no, this feels weird.
I'm good without the goo.
Yuka, you are free of the pod. You are standing in whatever state you wish that to be.
She stood closer before. She's just gonna stand and keep her head bowed until she's spoken to.
My child, how are you feeling now?
Renewed with the strength that you so graciously provided me. I thank you.
The kudzu does not respond, nor does it bow its head, as it has none to bow. Yuka, Cam as well. You two notice that the tiny growths on the end of the branches and of the vines curl ever so slightly. Cam, while you do not know what this means, Yuka, you recognize it as an acknowledgement. And a pleasant one at that.
Thank you.
I think I predicted your question there, didn't I? Yeah. So, you three hear a shrew pipe up from the edge of the clearing.
He's not a bird anymore.
He's not a bird anymore. Where are you guys thinking about going?
She is going to bend down and hold her hand out to see if he wants to skitter up.
You all watch as Yuka bends down, holds out a hand, and into her hand skitters a shrew. It's about the size of her fist, which is quite large. Cam, you would recognize. And looking at it, you see that its teeth look ever so sharp. Normal, but noticeable. So, yeah, where are you going?
I believe the last consensus was to the coast. Unless I am mistaken.
No, I believe that is correct, Lady Yuka, and my lord.
Lord Bestial's fine.
Of course, Lord Bestial.
I like you. Also, what you carrying?
My things?
Yeah. The one on your bag, the one that hangs off on the chain.
Oh, you mean, this? This is, my, what is it called again? Oh
Sensor?
no, may remember.
Sensor?
Sensor. Yes, that thing. Religion? Me? I don't know. This is my sensor for various clerical purposes, Lord Bestial.
Oh, makes sense. It's glowing like a beacon.
Is
Arcana?
it glowing like a beacon?
Arcana?
Does Fig Yeah.
I just want to look at it just
Everyone
normally.
here can roll me an Arcana check.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to Arcana it. He says it's glowing. I want to look at it and see if it's glowing.
So everyone can
12.
roll an Arcana check if they wish to. I will tell you immediately, it is not glowing. The item is not glowing
Great.
to you right now.
Awesome.
12.
Yeah, that means I'm gonna roll.
12. Fig?
I mean, that was a natural 2, so I'm pretty sure any bonuses aren't even gonna get to like an 8.
Gotcha. So, this was a DC 10 religion check. Yeah, Fig, Cam, you don't see it glowing. Fig, this is just the same thing you carried for a while. You and I know,
Nose blindness.
you and I know a little bit about the backstory of this item, but you had found it while you were on a archaeological dig, just a couple of months prior to meeting the rest of this adventuring party. And it had a symbol on it, which is unique. You've never seen this particular symbol before in any of your digs, though it definitely shares some similarities to symbols you've seen in the past, though they don't come to mind right now.
If anybody would like a very, very quick sketch, aka the last 2 seconds that you've been talking, it's similar-ish to that.
I'm so glad you have done this because I did not have the image locked and loaded to show to chat. Yuka, you looking at it recognize that it is not glowing. However, spreading out your spirit ever so slightly, spreading out your body in a way to feel the world around you, to connect with the nature, the flora and the fauna that you can see and that you can't see. Anyway, this is not a character. I love how I have to clarify now if my coughs are in character or not.
You did this to yourself when you decided there was going to be a public health emergency in Gurunk.
I did this to myself. You reaching out with your senses recognize that while it is not glowing to you, it definitely holds a power within it. This is a power very different from the ones you are used to, Yuka. The Lady Verdant and the Lord Bestial are ancient, are archaic, are primordial deities. Whatever is here in this sensor, or not in this sensor, but within, whatever is here in this sensor. I'm not going to try and correct that. Whatever is here in the sensor is still old. If you had to take a guess, it would be at least as old as the tail end of the war against the elves. However, it may be older, it may be younger. What you do recognize is that this is of a civilized religion. You, as a steward of the woods, never really had much connection with the religious folk of the cities. They usually didn't travel along the roads that came near your woods. And so, while you can identify that it seems like something somebody from a city or a town would follow, you're not able to identify this energy past that point. It feels mustard colored.
Interesting. I do not recognize this deity, Fig.
Huh? Oh, right. Lady Yuka. So it's kind of a long story. I mean, I could tell you the long version, or I could like tell you the short version. The short one is that I'm not quite sure yet. I've got some ideas. But do you want to hear the long version?
She's like chuckling to herself like this guy's following a god he doesn't know anything about.
If you were to tell the long version, Fig, Yuka can.
Yep.
You would all notice the sun is starting to descend in the sky. It is just past midday. So you would have
I will say I'm trying to not tell them the long story.
That is fair. You would have a good few hours of travel still to do that you could do today. And if you were to leave now, you would be able to get close to the dragon statues to set up camp for the night.
They can't hang out in my house?
They can hang out in your house if you want. I'm just telling you where Baratara is and the direction you need to go, because it is about a day's, 2 days, 3 days journey. I don't remember. I don't have access to that right now to check.
I would say actually what's between us and Baratara is maybe one direction of bandit running.
Oh
There's a
yeah.
bandit camp there, yeah. This is true, there's a bandit camp there.
So
Mm.
You can
in my
detour around
mind,
the bandit camp.
yeah.
I'm gonna put my dad on the ground real quick.
You try to put your dad on the ground, and he actually like scrambles up your arm. So there's now like a shrew sitting. It like jumps and it does a little thing that like small rodents will do, where like it jumps up and its back legs like kick a little bit before it scrambles up. And it just sort of sits on the brim of your hat.
Last time you said this, I heard shroom as in mushroom. It's like, why does the mushroom have teeth and why does no one ask any questions about it?
The Lord Bestial cannot be a mushroom. That's exclusively the thing he does not do.
Well, that's why I was confused. Okay.
Well, I mean, in some areas, mushrooms are probably aren't they sort of
This is
between
my
the two?
mom and this is my dad. What's not making sense?
No, I will. To May's credit, we've actually had this conversation before about we have the Lady Verdant and the Lord Bestial. Where do mushrooms fit? And where do bacteria fit? The answer is they don't. The answer is we're not talking about them. They don't exist right now.
There's just a minor deity called Fun. Because
Listen, I'm just a simple country musician. I'm just a simple country musician who is very fond of biology. So do not get into an argument with me about eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Don't start. Don't do it. I'll win.
This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is when you see a bio major bullying a computer science major.
Boo, 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 boo. When zoology doesn't work out, so you start a band camp. Pew, pew.
When IT doesn't work out, so you start a Twitch stream. No, I'm kidding.
Pew, pew.
Anyways, back to the game.
Back to the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still working on plan A.
I'll say, Lord Bestial,
Yeah.
thank you for your conversation and protection of Lady Yuka, but we might as well be on our way forward.
Yeah, I mean, sounds good to me. You wanted a guide. You wanted a guide, didn't you?
No, you don't have to do that. I mean, we're probably fine. Woods are definitely not dangerous in any way, shape, or form. And I like take like three glances over to the Lady Verdant just to be like.
Yeah. So unfortunately, the Lord Bestial just rolled a 15 on the die. So you're just gonna watch as this shrew like looks at you. Looks at the big, massive kudzu.
Yeah. No, that's not. I meant dangerous to like.
Half orc.
What did she say?
Half orc.
Malay?
It is not
Certainly, my lady, that is very wise. Yes. Yes, my lord Bestial, my lady Vern, we would very much appreciate a guide if we were to leave your woods.
Fig, you hear a crack from the trees above you. Can you give me a dexterity saving throw?
It's the unicorn.
Oh no! How did he climb a tree?
Okay, this one I will. Where's my character stat sheet? He's up here in front of me somehow. Where? Um,
Meanwhile, Yuka is plucking berries and giving them to the Lord Bestial and to Chamomile.
mhm.
The Lord
He likes
Bestial
some berries.
is grabbing berry going.
This is the best time
Yep.
of year to pluck these. They are very tart. You will like them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you're pretty sure you remember
Terrible
these
start.
berries being sweet at your summer home?
He said
Um,
if it was to me, then it was slightly cut off.
No worries. Cam, you're pretty sure you remember that these berries were sweet at your summer home.
And if I taste one, it does taste tart.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it absolutely does.
It's
okay,
a quality
yeah,
of
so
the
that's,
soil. It also changes the color of the flower when it goes to seed.
Yes, ma'am.
It is a
Oh.
10 on a d20, and I have a -1 to dex if we're just going just straight roll there.
You hear this massive crack resonate from the trees above you. And directly behind you, you feel something impact the ground. There's a tree branch that is looked like it had been snapped off by wind damage or something of a similar ilk, pointing towards a direction relatively northeastish from your current location.
My
Debt will be repaid. No.
Wait, are we now in your debt or what?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no. She don't do the talking thing that much. Don't worry about it. No,
I don't like being in people's debt, so
She wants you to go that way. There's a person. Well, not a person. We don't work with people. There's a guy over there who we need, like, who owes us a debt, so he'll show you the way.
Oh, okay. Anyway, my gracious thanks, lady.
No mention it.
And I'm gonna hook my arm around Cam and to leave because I'd really
he's
like
gonna be
to
dragged.
leave.
Like what? Okay, bye.
Is Throgan still in my house?
Throgan is following Fig and Cam at this point.
I was gonna say Thogan is gonna have stolen everything at this point.
She's going to pick off from what he's pilfered the most rare item that took her the longest to find, just out of pure spite.
You notice actually that he's only holding one thing in his hand, and it's a jar of elderflower blossom.
Those are not for you.
You just pick them out of his little hands and put them back, and he just looks at you and follows the other two.
Comfy bird.
Eagle-eyed viewers would notice that on the labeling, this appears to be written in a handwriting that's not Yuka's.
Well, Yuka's handwriting was on bone, so the fact that it was labeled at all.
So, you all head out, and as you step into the brush, following the direction of that branch, just a few steps forwards, you would begin to spot. Fig, you will not need to make me a roll for this. The other two can make me a survival check or a nature check.
Which one is higher? They might be the same.
15.
Let's see.
15. You will see this.
My survival
One's
is
in,
cut.
one's
cut
It was
off.
just the yes, you will see the thing.
Yes,
It was
yes,
like,
you
you'll
will
see this. No further sentence.
15.
You will both see this. Okay, so you all three will see this. You will see that there are small, almost circular prints in the grass, in the forest floor. They are deep as if they hold up a larger animal, possibly one that would be big enough to crush you if you were to annoy it.
Circular prints.
However, you notice that they do not have any sort of shoe on them. So while they are hoof prints, they are not the hoof prints of an owned animal. You all three would recognize that where these hoof prints have stepped, small, almost imperceptible mica fragments have also been left on the ground. Yuka, you've seen these footprints before, and all three of you seeing a few strands of silver, almost iridescent hair confirm the type of animal you were following.
Oh no. Oh no, poor Yuka.
Steven.
You do not get a response. You will also notice that the path you are taking never lets you see more than about a meter ahead of you. But the footprints are always there.
If there's one thing we can agree on, it's a preference for solitude and personal space. Off we go.
Still being dragged along by Fig, by the way.
Is there a shrew still on my head?
No, there's no shrew on your head. Actually,
okay.
Check, there's no shrew on your head.
Yep. Anyway, off to the woods we go, or off through the woods we go.
So you travel. You will be traveling for approximately 3 hours with this same pattern. You are following hoof prints. You never see what is leading the hoof prints, though a bunch of you have a very strong idea of what it is. Do any of you have anything you want to discuss or do or look for on your journey?
What is the next item that is highest priority for us? We have many parts in many places, but what is the most critical and what is the most time sensitive at this moment?
It's the the Dr. Scotty Monroe, she did mention that it's possible the illness, I am unsure if we can call it an illness at this point, perhaps was also occurring in Baratara. We should. Does anybody have any information on the what did he call himself? The really I don't want to say flouncy, but um Cam, you should you know we saw him. So there was this figure that called himself Tragedium.
Oh yes.
That
Yes, fun.
that seems to be the cause. I'm still uncertain of this perhaps magical ailment.
I don't
So
they are causing it. They were just from like from like what you called the dance. It was just like they were actors on the stage. Like when you go to a play.
it's true. I mean,
It doesn't mean
they're
they're in
involved,
control of anything.
but they are involved at least.
Maybe.
I would
I don't know.
say we should search out. It is widespread, not just Iron Cliff. And I suppose to
I would like to correct
I mean,
one thing for you, Fig.
please do.
You don't know if it's widespread. This is the first time this symptomography has been reported, according to Dr. Hoscati.
Mhm.
The only thing Dr.
Yep.
Hoscati told you is that there is a infectious disease expert up in Baratara that might have a historical idea of what was going on.
I'd love to do that anyway. Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Have we figured out if this illness is transmissible only among humanoids or if it affects animals too?
You have not learned that. You could give me a medicine check if you want to figure that out. Though Yuka, I will admit, you are going to get different information than the rest because you have not seen this disease up close yet.
Mm-hmm. I
12.
suppose.
Yuka, you know
Isn't it
that
also
not...
that Sorry, that
Fig.
Throgan also, like, he was, they were more like, the past vassal checks were like, I don't know. It's been a while. That Throgan might have ingested like some of the ash like things. And I think that's where we're at. We're at the ash, not any of the goo point.
So,
if
I'm going
anything.
to answer Yuka's question. Yuka, you know that there are diseases that are capable of animal to human and human to animal transmission. These are called zoonotic diseases. However, those diseases tend to be a little bit rarer in your experience as a steward of the woods, just because the physiology, like the biology of animal and humans tends to be different enough that those infection jumps don't happen a lot. The only one that you would be very, very familiar with, or there's two that you would be very, very familiar with. One would be called circle rash, which is known to be transmitted by the bites of small insects, and one of which is rabies.
Did you say circle rash?
I did.
Yeah, I was like, you said
Hold
circle
on.
rash, and I was like, wait.
Because
right.
because
You mean
Lyme,
that.
Connecticut
You mean
isn't
Lyme
a thing
disease.
in Gurunk.
Anyway.
And sometimes I do try and think about the consequences of my actions and not just use real world locations in my fantasy universe.
There's no such thing as a French braid in Gurunk, fun fact.
No.
No, there's this guy called like Nicholas French who figured out how to do a French braid.
He's a baker. Actually, he used the technique on bread first.
Mm.
And then people just started talking about with their hair.
And his colleague Albert Dutch did the same thing, but the opposite way.
Revolutionary.
Sorry.
Alright, so my players are done bullying me for that one, which is completely
No.
fair. I deserve it.
So circle rash, rabies.
That's it. Those are two you know.
Okay, that's fine. We haven't yet invented Zika or West Nile or dengue.
Well, there's no Nile.
Do you want? Yeah, you can't have West Nile. You also can't have Rocky Mountain spotted fever.
Well, there's definitely mountains that are rocky.
Yes, but the Aarakocra live there, which are, for some reason, immune.
Mm-hmm.
So the disease does exist.
There's no recorded instances of it. Anyway.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. That's what you know about zoonotic diseases and transmission.
Okay.
Fig. I'm trying to get my brain to catch up to what your question was. Fig, what you remember is that Frogan, when he went through the shapeshifting magic control checkpoint, it found some form of shape-changing magic on him that it tried to remove forcibly. And what happened was it had turned all of his feathers and all of his skin to ash. However, the feathers kept growing back, kept resurging, and Throgan's quote-unquote true form, whatever that happens to be, had never been found underneath it. Which did seem to be much to Throgan's disappointment. You would have also, Fig, remembered that there are a couple of items some of you are carrying that lit up in the same way that this ash did when Vassal looked at it. Notably, the rose book, the alchemy kit.
Box. Yep.
And I think those are the only two you had at the time.
Of my muzzle thingy.
You didn't have it at the time. You got that after.
Oh, yeah, I did.
That also lit up in the same sort of like energy as that ash and as the wires that
Yep.
Vassal had seen. You also noticed that stage 1 of the infection did appear to be a cough of some variety, along with you kept finding a thin layer of ash around.
Yeah. Big does not like real world examples. He likes various anecdotal evidences that are written down.
Fair enough.
But yes, so yeah, there is possibly an expert in Baratara, Lady Yuka, that I have no experience with this type of illness, and I believe we should seek out someone who is more knowledgeable about these things.
I've never been to Baratara. There are birds that migrate there and back as the weather changes. And they've told me some stories, but nothing about the people. Only about the fish, mostly.
I do want to add as well, Chamomile, you and Throgan currently have access to a jar full of goo from one of the braided wires.
Yes, a jar of goo.
I figured
I have a jar of goo.
that is also an important item. Yes, you have heard tales of the fish. Yuka, you would also know that the water up there is salty.
Fascinating.
Before departing, upon realizing that she is going to the beach where there are rare materia, she grabs a whole bunch of empty glass vials that she does not let anyone see.
That is fair.
And she puts on clothes because she hears it is cold up there.
So, actually, as you're putting on clothes, you notice there is something missing from your house.
Okay. Give it back.
Your boots are not where you left them.
Yeah, so then yank those.
The nice pair that you don't wear.
I'm like, I think I see like Yuka like looking at like her feet, and then like, and I'm just like sneaking glances out of the corner of my eye at Throgan, just being like.
Throgan just like speeds up and goes after Steven. You hear like the
Cam's
jangling of
gonna-
the little alchemical jars.
Oh no. Clink, 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 clink. Clink, clink, clink.
She settles for a much worse looking pair of shoes that are for going outside.
So you all head off and you walk about 3 hours in a general vague northeast-ish direction.
Following Stephen.
Following the unicorn. Hang on. Is that what you named him, Steven? Have you just got him to me, anyways?
I vaguely remember his name was Steve, but Yuka has disdain for him, so she calls him by his full name.
No, his full name is Steven's son. What are you talking about?
Son of Stephen.
So anyways,
Also, I have no idea. Are you thinking of Charlie the unicorn? Because I have no idea what you're talking about when it comes to a unicorn named Steven.
I am thinking about Charlie the Unicorn. Anyways,
Oh
you
no.
all continue walking. And I'm gonna get this train back on the rails. You all continue walking. And after a few hours, you were able to make camp for the night. You would notice that you were camping, or sorry, 3 hours is not going to get you to camp for the night. 3 hours is going to get you towards a clearing of flowers where you had all been previously. Well, everyone except for Yuka. Looking around, you notice this clearing is as you left it. Nothing strange seems to have happened here. No bizarre happenings that you wouldn't expect.
Such a shame.
Chamomile, you
Mhm.
do recognize that the circle of flowers that you had spotted the first time you were here is still present and there, and that no flowers seem to grow inside of this circle. You may stay, you may walk.
Here's the thing, if shit's happening in circles, there's like a decent chance of it being Honey's family. So I'm just gonna look if there's like mushrooms growing like on the border of this stuff where there's nothing happening.
Can you roll me a d3? So can you just roll a d6 and half it for me?
I was gonna say, the fuck's the D3?
Roll me a d3. I want you to break geometry for a second.
6.
6 would be a
So
three.
3.
So
You notice that there are no mushrooms around the edge of this circle, which is distinctly unlike Honey's family.
When? Is there a vibe that I do get from this?
You would get the vibe that this is very clearly something connected to that realm.
Mhm.
However, you don't see any familiarity in the way the circle is made, so it would be likely that it leads to somewhere you are completely unfamiliar with.
Cam, are
Gonna
you
quickly
okay?
write a note in Sylvan, just being like, Cam was here, greetings from the flower field, and just throw it in there.
Fair enough. Let me just write that down very quickly.
are we littering in these woods?
Indirectly, maybe, but this is going to likely a friend. We'll pick it up. I promise it won't be left behind long. Plus, like, it's biodegradable parchment and the charcoal-based ink.
Fine.
That all being said, as this conversation is happening, you actually watch as the paper seems to sink into the ground.
See? Problem solved.
Fairy behavior. Got it.
Well, that's rude.
That's what Sunny K says. Like, Yuka just looks at it and she's like,
Fair enough. It has been noted. It has been noted that a note that said Cam was here greetings from the flower field has been sent through the circle. You continue walking.
I'm just graffitiing all the fairy, like the fake circles.
With your name as well, I think is an important thing to mention.
you're just fucking tagging all of them.
Sorry?
You continue walking. And,
Like a German train.
I would like to ask you all a question.
Mm-hmm.
When you stop for the night, because you will have to stop for the night before you get to Baratara, would you like to stop in a location you know about in these woods, or would you like to camp in a random location?
Is the bandit camp on the way?
It could be, yes.
Do we think bandit camp or dragon statues?
Or third location.
Or yeah, unknown.
Oh shit, if we walk in, will they just shoot us on sight because one of the survivors recognizes your faces?
We
I
did.
mean, there's
like,
a decent likelihood of us becoming big cats again, so he might just not want to risk it.
Yuka doesn't know them. Like, she knows that there are settlements in the woods, so if you want
Mhm.
her to go first and just stick her head in there, what's the likelihood that they'll attack?
You would know based off the stories that you've heard, and very specifically as well, based off of the few interactions you have had with the bandits so far, and how you have left a single survivor in both cases. They're going to assume that everyone but one is going to die, and will react accordingly.
Sorry, Jeremiah.
Yeah, no, the chosen one is Jeremiah.
Was like, I don't know what's happened to me.
Has he helped our street cred at all, do we think?
Well, he
Roll
might
an
want to
insight
save
check.
Togen.
What?
I think
Roll
our
an
street
insight
cred's
check
just
if you wanna know
gotten
if Jeremiah
weirder.
helped your street cred.
Yeah.
I also want to roll an insight check.
Go
No.
ahead.
Come on. Let dice work.
What's my
8.
thing? Fuck.
You have no idea.
What
You don't
was
know
it?
these people.
Insight. 14.
Fig and Cam. Yeah, you think Jeremiah has helped your street cred.
14?
Yeah.
Damn. Still doesn't mean I'm gonna sleep next to them, but also, Yuka just died, which is great.
I'm still here. My camera's acting up.
Yuka's here, don't
Okay.
worry. Yuka's not dropped the call. Yeah, Cam and Fig, you both believe that Jeremiah has helped your street cred.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would Trogan think? He's not here,
I
but
don't like rolling for other people's characters.
Yeah.
no, but you don't have to.
I did roll for Throgan doesn't entirely know. Looking at Throgan.
If Trogan's not convinced, I'm not
You
convinced.
just sort of look at
Let's
Throgan
be
and see
honest.
him like a shrug.
Trogan had like half a bromance going on. If Trogan isn't sure, we're not staying there.
Yeah. So you guys
Yeah,
just
it's
pass
like-
by Bandit Camp completely.
It's like Jeremiah could give us a good word, but like he is only one person, and I'm not quite sure if he's like actually physically present at all, because he did get like vacuumed into another realm by goo. So Mig is talking this out loud because he's trying to work through a problem that doesn't have any solution.
Yes, math.
But it's like, yeah, we might not want to risk it because I think we killed at least like 3 of them. Oh, and their dogs. We did kill their dogs. Let's not go there.
Well, it's not my fault they attacked a bear. If you attack a bear, you're gonna die. I'm sure.
So you will all go past the bandit camp. You watch as the hoof prints take you around the eastern side, which is going to be the side closer to the coast and closer towards Oberon. Very, very quick. Would you like to stop and camp at the dragon statues, or would you like to camp in the woods somewhere?
Well, Fig, you're the nerd. You wanna go back to the statues? No. Also, you still haven't paid me for the statues.
But the thing is, I also think that like one of them's like a hair's breadth away from going off like a nuclear bomb. So
What is a nuclear bomb?
okay.
Okay, so I can explain this one. Do you know how a bomb works? This one's just way bigger and also just poisons everything.
And there is this in the woods.
Well,
Right now.
it's in a clearing.
It's what did you call it before? Because like Yuka's not over there. It's like the forbidden zone.
It's the forbidden zone.
Of
Yeah,
the
it's the
woods.
forbidden zone.
I mean, so there is this energy that sort of sucks in other energy. Cam, have you made the statue of that one yet?
I made all the statues, and you also got
Okay,
all of them.
Okay.
The whichever one
Great.
was the top one is going to be the least amount of detail.
Mm-hmm. So this is sort of what it looks like, and it's got, I think, pretty purplish type of aura.
Amethyst.
And amethyst, right? Yes, that is correct.
I know my
Yeah, thank you
stone.
very much. And Strogan, right? You remember that they actually like used it to like suck the life out of some bandits, which is another reason why we should probably not go to a bandit camp.
What in the world did you do while I was asleep?
Ah,
Oh, Fig's fault. Fig wanted to go to the statue.
yeah.
No,
Well,
no,
but
no.
I
no.
wanted to leave
All of you did
the
this.
moment. Yes, we did go
Sure.
there. Yes.
So, you all decide to as well
Interesting.
pass by the dragon statues and not stop there for the night, which means you are going to be slightly past both the dragon statues and the bandit camp by the time you set up camp. You notice that you come to a spot where the hoof prints seem to have made a circle before continuing on. And take this as...
Is this even an actual unicorn or just a metaphysical unicorn?
Roll me nature. Roll me arcana.
I can't do either of those. I'm not that smart.
You're a druid. Anyways.
I'm not intelligent. I'm wise. 15.
You
Good
would
five.
know chamomile. Cam, what you would know is that if it were a metaphysical unicorn, it would likely not be leaving hoof prints.
I mean, sometimes incorporeal shit is corporeal just for like the jump scare in horror movies, so why not for like tracking?
Stephen is very real. And at this point, Yuka like unties part of like her shift and just shows like the perfect imprint of a puncture wound that has gone clean through the interstitial space between major organs.
Looks painful.
Yeah.
He is real. And he is a bastard.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna start putting up walls to not have to talk to people at this point.
Recommendations for interacting with Stephen. Don't talk to him and don't be 8 years of age.
Stephen hates children. Despises them.
Stephen hates kids.
Or at least one specific child. Yeah, so you guys set up camp for the night. There are 4 of you, so I will let you set up watches as you wish. Throgan will take whichever watch is left over.
Should Throgan have the first watch or the last watch? Do we think?
Or
one in the
They
middle?
seem more of a late night owl to me than an early bird.
Isn't he?
Upon
That
saying
creeper.
early bird, you'd get just like a from Throgan.
Exactly, I'm saying you're not one of those.
He just
But
goes
night
and, like,
owl is
starts setting
fine.
out his bedroll.
I'll take the first one.
I will take the last.
I'll take a third then. That's fine with me.
Cool. Everyone roll me a perception check.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, is it possible to, like, roll with distraction?
Yes, give me disadvantage, but why?
Because Cam has seen both, like, Tragedian, whose, like, physical makeup confuses them in terms of limbs, and is also just jealous of Krogan's feathers, so they kind of want to spend their shift trying to grow feathers and also trying to, like, lengthen their limbs and shorten them just to see how it would be.
Yeah, absolutely. Roll me with disadvantage.
There's no one watching me at that point. Oh, damn, I still rolled way too well.
Hey, we didn't hear what you just said, unfortunately.
I'm still up, yeah.
Yeah, there you are.
See, I don't need to roll with disadvantage because that was already a 3.
Cheers.
What? I can't do math. Oh no. So it's a 16 and a 22.
So a 16. So disadvantage is the 16, yeah.
Yes.
Yuka?
15.
All right. So what's going to end up happening here is Chamomile, your shift goes by. You don't see anything strange in the woods. The one thing you would see is that a little bit past you in the brush, there is a slight, very cool blue glow that seems to stay very, very constant throughout your entire watch. You're able to point this out.
Would that be the direction of like the footprints going?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that I guess that's probably Steven. Don't mind the glow, it's probably fine.
You pass this information on to Throgan. Throgan also sees it, is also able to just sort of sit there, have that figured out. And Fig, by the time you wake up, you are also passed the information that, hey, there's a glow over there. We think it's Steven, the unicorn. Don't mind it. It's not moved all night. It's probably fine.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's the yeah, okay. There's a glow there. Sure. I definitely like nod off halfway through though.
Yeah, you fall asleep. You're bone tired. Luckily, you didn't hear or see anything strange during your shift. Yuka, you are able to be woken up naturally because you notice that Fig has unfortunately fallen asleep on watch. With a, what did you roll, a 12?
15.
15. With a 15, you will also see nothing strange or unusual during your shift other than that awful blue glow that keeps you up all night. It's just the right color that it makes your sleep a lot less refreshing. Like, do you know how unnatural blue light is outside in the world?
Steven is phone addiction.
Steven is phone addiction.
Steven is a streamer.
Hey,
she's just sitting there and then like trying so hard to focus on the world around her, and then she hears "What's up, chat?" and has no fucking idea what that means. Chat! Are you seeing this?
You just hear, "Oh, chat, are you seeing this?" And you hear a bunch of birds just like twittering back. Bang! Got it. Anyways, you all wake up. You have a lovely rest. Fig, you have no strange dreams tonight. Chamomile, you also have no strange dreams. However, as you are waking up, you hear the little like tinkling of laughter. Very, very joyous, very like good-humored laughter. Just sort of in your brain as you're in that space between like dreaming and awake. And you have the very distinct sense that some message somewhere was received.
Would I recognize that this is something that happens when you tag a fate portal?
You have not heard this specific response before, but you would know that tagging fate portals tends to have a effect. Yeah. So, you all wake up for the day, continue further on your way. You have another good, just over a half day of travel. I think it might be like 6 hours or so. The first 3 hours will be continuing through the forest, through the woods, through the ancient woods. And as you get to the other end, Yuka, you all three come across the edge of the forest. You noticed that the footprints stopped guiding you about 50 meters ago. Instead, a tree branch had been laid onto the path, pointing north. Following that,
He
you
can
end up
teleport. Bastard.
following
She
that.
pulls out.
Oh yeah.
She pulls out. She pulls out a little like cheesecloth bag of berries that she pulled from home, and she just tosses them on the ground next to the footprints.
You all continue following this direction and reach the edge of the forest. First, it goes from your large, huge trees, your dense underbrush, into the trees getting a little bit smaller, the brush getting a little bit lighter, until you break out of the forest entirely. Now only blackberry bushes hiding you from the outside. Now, Baratara is in the northern half of Garok. It is a continent where it is rainy more often than not. The ground itself, you would see do I remember what the map looks like? I don't think I do. See, this is the problem with today's setup. I don't have my virtual tabletop, which means I also don't have my notes. Garunk, please remind me what you look like.
I
I
have a
thought
map.
it was a bit
I'm
more
trying
of
to
a
find
swampy
it.
green.
I'm booting up the JPEG. JPG save me.
Baratara is like a light green, like luscious grassy green.
Yes. Perfect.
But underneath
So,
that is like a swampy
Where-
brown.
Where you are used to the plains around Ironcliff being very prairie grasses, very yellow and golden in the sun, you emerge onto a pastoral green landscape. It is beautiful in the way that only grasslands with an overabundance of rich, fertile soil can be beautiful. Again, these grasses are long. They come up to maybe your they come up anywhere between like your knees and your upper thighs. And as you are staring out over just the area before the large river, you see that as the wind blows through, the ground almost seems to shimmer as all of the grass flows back and forth.
Petey.
Continuing on your way, you are able to reach the river, and two of you, Chamomile, Fig, would know that this is the river that connects to Hawkshar. Hawkshar being the capital of Garunk. This river allowed, in the past, much transport to and from the ocean to occur. And this river is also what gives this area its fertile soil. A previous riverbed, possibly, or Fig, you've heard tales that it could have been a deity that blessed the land to have good harvest. No one is entirely sure anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Crossing the river is not as difficult as many of you may think. There seem to be enough merchants willing to ferry you across for a few copper, maybe a silver piece. Or, should you choose to swim, you notice that the current is not as aggressive as you may think. Swimming across will certainly push you further towards the ocean, but it is also doable, surprisingly. Though maybe that is simply something making your journey easier. Continuing north, you have another few hours with which to talk amongst yourselves, to chat, to catch up, or to do what you wish. That is until you begin to reach Baratara. Now, Fig, you are a scholar.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to tell everyone what you know about Baratara, this city that stands in the delta of the largest river?
Mm-hmm. I'm really disappointed I can't find my map because I like my map.
There's a map in the Discord.
I can also just make the map visible, but it's going to cover up people's faces, if that's okay.
Fine.
I replied in Discord. I replied to the message that has the map.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I just wouldn't show
Right, they
people.
can kind of see the map.
Anyway.
We have a very washed out map on screen right now.
Mm-hmm. But yes, so yeah, head into Baratara. So Cam, have you been there at all before? Lady Yuka, you said you haven't been.
I don't think Cam would have been here, at least not enough to remember much of it.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
maybe
so,
a holiday situation.
You usually went to your mother's.
Yeah,
Your
no
mother's
fair.
hometown on vacation.
But yeah, I can give you like a slight rundown. So I've had a little bit of research that I've done it in connection with the dragons and the said war against the elves, because obviously Ironcliff was like the main defensive area, but Baratara was like their main like supply type area. So
Hmm.
Baratara would help supply Ironcliff and the various troops if they needed it from that said central oceanic location. Uh, and of course, so that means that's where Throgan, this is the headquarters for the Navy, which means there is a high naval and sort of uh, police policing sort of thing. So just I'm just letting you know that.
Very different from the boys of Ironcliff, who tend to be a bit less straight
mhm.
laced about everything.
Yeah, like I even heard they like conscripted people before. Like they don't, thankfully, really have to do that anymore. But because war's over.
Yeah, Cam's just gonna
Um,
pat to see where their papers are. Well, when they hear more police.
You have your papers.
mhm,
They're exactly where you left them.
Yeah,
yeah.
worth checking.
No, I know. This
Um,
is like when you get to the airport, you have to make sure you've got your passport.
mhm,
Am I sure I'm not carrying a bomb?
And make sure you definitely don't have any money.
yep. Let's see. Some other things about Baratara. Oh, it's sort of like, so I don't know if there's a lot more like, since I mean we're on a river and we're on an ocean, but there's lots of like little streams and otherwise. So like you sort of do have to watch where you step. I think it was oh god, it must have been like my freshman year. It was like spring break, and I just like walked right off the edge, guys. Anyway, we're not gonna talk about that.
You
Fig,
bought
you got so
no.
ill afterwards. It was the sickest you had ever been.
Yeah, I don't like remembering it.
Why do you mention it? I want to know.
I mean, it's just I'm just saying so that you do watch your step, and like I don't know if you're used to Ironcliff, Cam. The ground might be a lot less solid, so you might not want to. I don't know. It's sort of on this watery bit of land. So
Yes,
um oh, and the other thing that I remember from my research that okay, I mean we don't have to go there because I mean it should be less dangerous than like going to like the actual dragon statues. But there's this like one bar that I've heard that like a dragon actually like stayed there occasionally, and I'm like I mean we have to like go to a place to rest our heads anyway. I think it's like Rock's Retreat or something. It it's something like that. I'll note when I see it.
Sorry, what did you just call it?
Rock's Retreat.
Rock's Retreat. Thank you. Okay, I just needed to check.
I know what the name is. I'm just
so we're
No,
we're gonna
know what
listen
you
May
to
think
her
the
say.
name is.
May knows what the name is, but Fig does not recall.
Do I need
know
to
what
get a
Fig thinks the name is. Don't worry. I got you. I got you.
let me know when I need to get a certain wood carving down from my wall.
I mean, if you want to share it, you are allowed to share it after break. I'm gonna
Oh,
set show and tell for after break.
only if it becomes relevant.
Fair enough.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it might no longer be there, but I mean, I hope it is. But yeah, so that's Bartara. That's I mean, I think that's really all I know. So they don't really have like a central government, but it is the Navy. So hopefully Dr. Scotty has let them know that we'd like to speak with them. I think I have like a letter.
As
Or did
you
we forget
all
that?
continuing your conversation, Fig going into his descriptions of this gorgeous city. Houses built tall and skinny so that they could all have canal front views. Built into the river delta, such that all ships had to pass through. Nobody could sneak in, as piracy was a real concern back when Baratara was founded, and remained one throughout most of the city's tenure. Hills sloping slowly towards the coast, the rich neighborhoods on higher ground than everyone else. The Navy headquarters, placed right near the harbor, so that quick response times were one of the things they prided themselves on. And more than anything, joyous people. Markets, open and active most days of the week. Wonderful bakeries with sweetbreads and savory rolls that you could smell across town, leading your nose to better pastures. Not that anywhere was bad necessarily. And as you crest the last ridge, blocking you from Baratara, you know that above all, this was a city that worshipped the sea. Whether directly worshipping old deities of seafaring, or indirectly being naval men singing shanties as they pull ropes, oiling up boats, making sure to build houses waterproof and set the canals straight so that the members of the town, the citizens, could get to and from work. What you see when you crest the ridge is a town under a gray sky. It is not raining, though it seems that the sky should be crying. You see the ocean, dark, wine dark, frothy peaks crashing against houses. The inner portion of the city, the portion closest to the coast, has been flooded. The naval headquarters, you can only see the top floor sticking out from the ocean waves. And as you watch the waves crash in, you see them follow first the channels of the canals that used to be so vibrant, until they slam against houses, causing horrible creaking sounds from the salt-sodden wood within. You see that the outer rim of the city appears to have been saved from this fate. You see evidence of magical barriers set up, as well as sandbags, a classic that holds well. And close to the center of it, water high enough that half of the door is always covered, you see a small tavern, built in a very orcish style, almost as if by hand. None of you recognize the name. A signpost. Now, Sunny K, what does this signpost say?
The signpost says the Siren Song Tavern and Inn.
And that is where we are going to go on our break, ladies and gentlemen. So, please go get yourself a water, go and get yourself a snack, and use the bathroom if you need to. We will be back in a little bit of time. And yeah, we will be back in, I want to say 15-ish minutes, so that should put us at about 7:40 AMS. 12:40 Central Time, I think?
12:40.
12:40 Central Time. I had my time zones correct. So, we will be back after
12:40, 1:40 Eastern Time.
We will be back after this short break, and yeah, that's about it. See y'all soon. I hope you've enjoyed the first half of the stream so far. I am going to make one slight change to the audio very quickly because I might have pointed out what the issue was. If I can just do this. And then could everyone please speak for me very quickly?
Hello.
Beautiful. Beautiful, thank you guys.
And Fig isn't saying anything, which is great because they're the one testing the audio.
To be fair, if Fig just doesn't say anything and checks if the audio is okay, that's completely good.
It's the I have to have at least one muted or else I get the weird reverb stuff, and it's so bad. Hey, that's a pet peeve of mine. Anyway.
That's fair.
But Fig, is our audio looking good? I can keep talking, yes. Yuka, what do you have to say?
Nothing in English, really.
Apparently not. Is that the baby exploding song? No, that's not the baby exploding song.
No, that's
Baby exploding sound?
that's the little birds go the fuck to sleep song.
I got you. Now you have to sing the baby exploding song though, because I brought it up.
Say maybe it's a little better, but there is still some difference. I mostly hear it with you or Sunny, so
I could turn you guys down more. I can also just turn Sunny down specifically
Thanks.
if it's a Sunny issue.
I think it's because Sunny, you just have such a good mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're making us look bad.
I record music for money. What do you want me to do?
Just
I'll
have
plug
a
your band
trashy one for this stream. Get
Go
on
to
our level.
Hey, sunnyk.bandcamp.com. Go buy my single. Go buy Hermana League.
Music that you hear during break.
I wrote this music like 4 years ago, so it's not great. This is a MIDI track.
Shush. Shush. It's good.
I thought Blackwood Harp was newer. Anyways.
Nope.
So, I believe it is time for us to jump back into the game if everyone is ready. I will also put on my glasses so I don't get a headache. There we go. So.
Nerd.
Yes, I have migraine disorder. What about it? Anyways. You have all, at this point, made your way into the city of Baratara. Where you are walking, you notice that the streets are very, very empty. You notice
Are they also wet?
Where you are not wet. The outer rim of the city, because you were still slightly on a hill, is actually above the water level. Where you are walking, you notice that the colors of the city appear to be muted. Baratara is not necessarily a city that is known for being colorful, though you do notice that there are houses with a little bit more decoration than others. Shutters that had been lovingly painted, a flower box on a window, a, kitschy crate that had been set next to the door. All of these items, for some reason, appear to be desaturated. And then, as you start getting a little bit closer to the city center, you start to see why. As you see where the waves do reach, the items hit by waves retain their color. And you see floating, almost like an oil skim on top of the ocean, are small, cracked layers of ash. Whatever has happened here, whatever reason that people stay indoors, you think you may have an idea of where it arose. The information you were given about where to go, about who to seek, by Dr. Marlow, was to go and speak to the naval officers. The Navy doctor was the one who would be able to connect you to the libraries, at least through Dr. Hoscati. So, in this new town, town where you're pretty sure you can hear the wailing of ghosts calling out through the city, where you can smell not just the salt of the sea, but also that dead decay, that acrid smell that burns your nose and the back of your throat. Fish rotting, wood being claimed, piece by battered piece back to the ocean. What would you all like to do?
Dry is desaturated, and the stuff that's wet isn't.
Correct.
Okay. I have like a ton of like random bottles and shit because of my herbalism. Can I just like collect some of the water and drop it on something that's desaturated?
Yeah, when you do that, you're absolutely able to do that.
Also, am I still like purple?
You're still
or am
purple.
I also desaturated?
No, you're still purple.
Okay.
As you do this, as you pour this water onto just a bag that had been left somewhere, you notice that as soon as the water touches this bag, you start to see clumps form in the way that like fine powders begin to clump together when introduced to water. And you see these little gray droplets begin to flow off the bag where the water had touched, revealing the colors underneath.
This is very, very odd. What? I'm like, okay, I'm handing out all of the masks that I got from Dr. Ascati's office.
Throgan takes
I'm
one
handing
and
one.
puts it on one ear under his beak and then on the other ear.
No, I'm like tying two together so that I can go over his entire beak.
Does he like put them like into his ears? Birds don't have pinnae.
I forgot birds don't have pinnae.
Birds
I do remember there were bird masks in the clinic, so you can hand him a bird mask, which like connects behind with a little hook and eye.
And it's like I give one to Yuka. I'm not certain what this is, but I don't want you to breathe it in, and I make sure Cam has one on too.
Cam already had one, and sees you handing them out, it goes like,
Yep. Yeah.
Can I just like, there's now a bit of colored in the desaturated bag.
Yeah.
If I just like put my finger like over it, does it also like come off, or is it then still desaturated?
As you just drag your finger across it, you watch as the color is revealed from under your finger. And you see that there is a thin line, like not a thin, like a very thick clump of gray ash on your fingertip that you had dried out of this bag.
I just put this like about this far from like Fig's face. Science.
Yep, I see it. I see chamomile. Thank you.
And I'm gonna put it in a vial because I've been told to save things.
You may add one vial of Baratara ash to your character sheet.
How much like the ash that keeps showing up when the merchant does this ash look?
Give me 2 seconds to type so I can mute myself for the audience. Yes, for those at home, I don't have access to the VTT today, so I'm also doing this blind without my notes. This ash looks very similar to the merchant's ash. You would need to roll me an Arcana check if you want to know whether it is exactly the same or not.
Oh?
I mean,
oh?
We could just like... We don't know if the merchant's ash is like actually anything magical or if it's just ash.
Correct.
19.
So looking at this ash, Yuka, you would notice you don't have a comparison point. Looking at this ash, you would notice that it is not intrinsically magical, though it does have a sheen around it of being magic, if that makes sense. The ash appears to be mostly just ash. Though, that being said, it is clearly not from a wildfire or a fire of any sort. Rather, it appears to have been spontaneous in nature. You, comparing it to the merchant's ash, because you have seen the merchant's ash, you would know that it is the same as the ash that was found in that circle.
And then I'm Big's like looking over at the oily, clumpy water. Let's see. He's hoping, carefully. Does any have an empty vial? He wants to take it to compare with the thick goop that we already have.
I will be able to tell you right now,
And
before you
a
even
vial
stick your
to the-
hand in it, what is on top of the water is not actually oil. Rather, it is a thin layer of like this ash that has been washed off. So it rests on top of the water like an oil layer would, but it is not itself an oil layer.
Got it.
Okay.
It's also going to be a lot thinner than the goop that you found from one of the wires.
Let's see. I'm like now looking around for just people because
give me a perception check.
I don't. Yeah. That one's not
Like a bunch of tasty food stuff a while ago.
I have a 12.
You would notice that this area of the city appears to be abandoned.
I got a 19.
Okay.
With a 12, you're going to notice that this area of the city appears to be abandoned. The house that you were working on with the bag, this bag appears to be filled with like glass jars, like empty glass jars. Some of them you would recognize. Some of them you would recognize as being milk jars that would have been left out as if to be refilled, but had never been come back to. The ocean here, it's lapping up against your shoes at this point. And you could imagine that if so much of the city has flooded already, those living here may have already evacuated. With a 19, you would know that if there were to still be people in Baratara, they would likely have moved towards the outer ring. Now, there's two problems with that. The first is that the outer ring is made mostly of mansions, of bigger houses, of places of the well-off people, which may or may not have taken in refugees if this had happened. The other thing you would know with a 19 is there is a library in Baratara. Now, this library is around about the area you're currently in, relatively center of the city, near the market, near where the market would have been. And while its bottom floor would likely be flooded at this point, the library of Baratara rises above the buildings around it. And as such, if you needed to house a lot of people, or perhaps a governmental body, a couple of the upper floors would be a lovely place to set up, considering this is a town filled with boats.
Both of you have been to this place before. Was it this flooded during your previous visits here?
No, this is very strange to me, my lady. This is a port town with all of their canals. They're used to like high water levels and feeding back the ocean. I'm not certain how it got to be this bad.
suppose that when you're fighting the ocean, you should always prepare that there's a chance you may lose. Shall we to the government building, the naval office, or directly to the library?
I'm not certain if anyone could be at the Navy building. That they're set up right on the harbor, and I'm not certain if we
As
could
you
get there
say
without.
that, Fig, and as you cast your eyes out towards the harbor, you hear the creaking of a very large mast before echoing across the city. You hear it crack, and you hear something massive shift, splash, and begin to fall beneath the waves.
Yeah, so what was that? Which direction did it come from?
I think that was the harbor.
That was the harbor.
Yeah. Let's see. Central location. I don't know if we're gonna find anyone very. Is there not?
If there were
I'm
anyone
biggest
in
surprise
this
that like
area,
no
it'd be the
one's like out.
library. Yeah.
I suppose yes. It is. I'm guessing Fig knows the way. I'm not. He might
Fig
be
would know the way.
confused with
Fig
all the
would know the way.
flooding,
Fig knows where the
but
library
yes.
is. Feel that in your bones.
Yes, the library is this way. Though I'm wondering if we can get there without, I would say, getting our feet wet. Fig now looks around for a boat, or like just like a,
See if you can
I don't know, a
find a boat.
gondola or something.
Oh, how deep would the water be?
Right here, it is literally lapping up against the shore. You would be able to wade into this for a while. You know that the city is on a hill, but it's not like this, it's more like this.
Yeah, I can't see your camera right
Your
now.
your camera has stopped.
My
That's
camera has
that's
stopped. It's not
Your-
like a hey, trucks be careful hill. It's more like a
Mhm.
okay.
if you walk it long enough, you're gonna notice that there's a little bit of an incline.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Fig lead the way and just consistently mold earth like stones up.
Yeah, you're able to do that. Absolutely.
I'll fix this. I'm sorry.
You just hear somewhere in the background like, oh, you better.
But yeah, I
People.
try to lead the way to the library without, like, if the water gets up to like my knees, I am gonna.
It
look
doesn't.
for-
I'm raising the earth.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to have.
I'll
I don't want to make you
fix
do
it.
that all the whole time.
It's fine. I'm a sculptor. Do you know how much easier this is compared to changing an eye from an almond shape to an oval shape? Because this person thinks they have oval eyes when they don't. No, this is fine. This is no issue.
Vassal did this, didn't he?
They are oval
No
shaped.
further comments.
They are oval shaped. Of course they are.
I'm a sculptor. I know your face better than you do.
Yeah, so you were
anyway.
able to walk forwards. Fig, the water will never get up to your knees because of what Cam is doing.
Mhm. Yep.
And luckily for you, the library is close by. So, Cam, you would know that you're at the end of it raising the water about a meter high, or raising the floor about a meter up.
3 feet.
In order to, like, keep you guys dry. And you walk
Oh,
up,
that's not bad.
you end up walking up to the library. You notice that the water below you is incredibly dark. Usually, when water reaches a shoreline or becomes shallower, it doesn't retain this level of color, this level of deep, just light leaching color. Yeah,
I
but
did
I
not.
don't want to step in it.
Yeah, for some reason here it does still remain that dark, almost black as you are walking up. You see the Library of Baratara. Now, this is a lovely circular building. It raises out of the ground almost as if it challenges the landscape around it. Stone and gilded wood reaching up. You notice that the bottom two floors of the library are currently surrounded by an enchantment. Now, this enchantment appears to be pink and blue in nature, zigzagging together amongst each other almost like lightning sparks, setting up pillars around the wooden supports, barriers shooting between them. And you notice that even though the water has risen here, again, a good meter from the ground, the library itself, its structure is remaining dry. Whatever this barrier is, despite being made of electricity, appears to be able to keep this ocean at bay.
Wait, made of electricity?
It sparkles and it crackles like it is.
Okay. I was gonna say,
Any
we'll
of you
hire
could give me
something.
an Arcana check if you want to give me an Arcana check,
Yes, please.
or a History check.
3.
Looks like electricity.
7.
Yeah, I know electricity.
Looks like
That's the easy
electricity.
part.
What is that?
I have a 15 because I'm better at history.
Fig, you wouldn't necessarily know anything about this barrier itself. However, you would know that as you get closer and as you begin to see the way that this crackles, it crackles like lightning does, splitting off in a ton of different directions. But it almost, like every time a crackle appears, it appears in this bubblegum pink before melding into the blue of the rest of the barrier. And tracing back one of these crackles, you're able to find what looks like a small mechanical firefly with a very round, bulbous abdomen that almost appears to be hovering in place and keeping the weave of this barrier together. This is something you recognize from your history books. Very specifically, you know that taffeta use mechanical fireflies as one of their specialties. You walk up to the library and you see that as you approach, somebody from the second floor appears to spot you from a window. What used to be glass crisscrossed with iron has now become open air. There is a sheet of something, not quite glass, it looks lighter weight than that, but still clear, in front of the window. And you hear a, Hale, why are you out there?
What was the health professional's name? Do you recall?
I don't know. We got a name.
I don't think you did. The health
we did not
professional's
get a name.
name was...
You don't have to tell us if we wouldn't know. That
No.
could be funnier.
Charles? No, because I think it is actually on the referral, like what his name is. I just didn't give it to you because I didn't want to think of a name. His name is Charles...
Fake name.
Charles Marks.
Charles Marlow.
We seek the healer Charles
Hale.
Marlow.
And other information about what happened here?
Just remain where you are. No, don't remain where you are. That's dangerous. Do any of you have any symptoms?
Describe them to us.
Coughing, ash, oil, any memory loss.
A jar of oil.
Cam? Rogan, are you feeling okay?
You just get like a bird thumbs up.
We're also actively wearing masks, so
You
honestly.
are also actively wearing masks. This is true.
Mm-hmm.
No. Though if you wish to test us and verify in some way, you are welcome to do so.
Memory loss.
One moment. I'll get Marlow and he'll make a call. Just here. Come here. You can come in this window here. I'm gonna leave the room first. Don't leave the room that you enter. And then you
Understood.
see that this halfling
He's
man,
up one floor?
He's on the second floor. Yeah. Or
Okay,
first
so I'm
floor
just
for
gonna-
you Europeans.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna make a staircase.
You're able to do this. You notice as you're making the staircase, he moves this sheet of whatever it is out of the way of the window. And as he does so, a portion in this, again, like buzzing barrier, this firefly barrier, ends up opening up in the shape of the window as some of the fireflies move up to sort of pull apart the weave of the magic at that location.
That's cool.
You see...
You're cool.
You see a shock of, like blonde brunette hair. That brunette that has, like, sun-bleached streaks in it run out of the room at about like, stomach height for all of you. Before a door shuts. Fig, this library is gorgeous. It is as you remember it for the most part, except for the water outside. There are books stacked floor to ceiling, those wonderful rolly ladders, which you love so much. And in this room
I'm gonna get on a rolly ladder.
Cam gets on a rolly ladder. Give me a dexterity save.
Yeah, 1 second. I need to know what my thingy is.
And in this room as well, you notice that there is...
Natural 20, baby!
You can go as much as you want, Cam. You just, like, roll around the room on this ladder.
Whee!
You actually would come to a stop at one point, Cam.
Oh.
And you would be stood with your face towards the bookcase, I assume.
I'm assuming I'm not being completely stupid.
With a book in front of you that has a lute crossed with a sword, like very specifically a saber, embossed on the spine. The two of you not rolling down a ladder, would notice that there is a bar stool sat facing the window that you came in through. And next to this, you see that there is a mug of warm tea, half drunk, along with a spyglass that had been left. This is very clearly a well-used chair, well-worn area, as if somebody is kept on guard here. Kim, do you do anything with the book?
I mean, does it look like a fun book?
It's got a saber and a lute on the front.
That seems like a fiction book. I'll grab it.
You grab the book. You may add the Siren's book to your character sheet. You hear a knock on the door that you had watched the halfling run out of. Hello?
Come in.
I will not be doing that yet. Are any of you in there against having magic cast upon you? Very specifically
Fine.
scrying magic.
No.
That's fine.
Scrying? No, that's perfectly fine, sir.
Wonderful. And you would feel, if you have any sort of magical attunement, that there is a slight power being created behind the door. Before you know that the spell has been cast more than you actually feel it. You just know sort of how long this casting takes. And what are you carrying?
Can you be more
specific?
specific?
The bird has a box about the size of a small book. The taller person with the horns.
I'm tall. What? Oh shit.
You are carrying something. It looks like a jawbone.
Am I? Oh, hey, yeah, I am.
The very tall fellow. You have a book in your possession.
Oh, yes, certainly.
Oh, and there's a small bead as well on the one carrying the jaw.
I have a bead.
You have a bead.
Why do I have a
It's
bead?
like a small sphere.
I don't know.
No bigger than a ball bearing.
When did I get this?
It's on your character. It's on your character sheet.
Yeah, but like, Rose doesn't remember. Fine. Did I yoink something? I'm gonna have to
I
quickly
don't
look at
remember either.
I'm gonna have to check the list of like items I gave you guys as well, because I think there's something else in that room, but I'm not remembering. Oh, and there's a jar of something, a few jars of something.
Oh, yes,
I have
that's
jars of
part
stuff.
of
I know
what
that
we're
jars
trying
of stuff.
to ask you about. If this is considered an illness, but yes.
I mean, apparently I have glass beads, but that's 5 of them.
You have 5
And I
of
don't know
them?
when I would have acquired those.
Why do you have 5 of them?
It says so in the thing you sent me.
I am so confused because only one of them exists at a time. Oh, and there's another
I don't know.
larger sphere on the bird as well.
Well, I don't remember the glass bead, so I don't think I added that.
Fair enough. Then we will assume you don't have it.
No, but if can only be one at a time, I want it.
Well, then you can have it. Would you like it?
I like stuff, so yes, sure.
Sure, have it. There's a small sphere on the one with horns and a large sphere, similar in size to a pondering orb on the bird. Not bird. What's wrong with the bird, not bird? You see Throgan's just like fluting.
They got cursed.
It is a man under a curse.
They got
yes.
birded.
That makes sense. Wonderful. Well, if you could put the items I've described in the corner furthest from you.
Yeah, that should be okay. I pull out my book, and I'm guessing it's like a corner by the window.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is there ash on our clothes from the water?
Not from the water.
Okay.
There would likely be a little bit like hanging on any longer pieces of clothing that had brushed against anything, but it's not like clinging to you like it's been clinging to the outside.
So it's like anything that would have been on us has like shaken off by now?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay. Weird. Nice. Interesting. Waterproof clothes.
Items.
Do you intend to destroy them?
Yes.
Do not yet destroy them.
I'm gonna wait for May to be able to respond. Hold on. Fig took a bite of his power bar at the wrong moment.
Yes, he did. Oh no. See you. Those are part of. Please don't destroy them. We would like those items, please.
I don't even know what mine does.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
Alright.
So we've been carrying those for mine. I've had it for like 5 days, and I'm not sick yet. If that's a concern of yours, they don't seem to spread anything.
Intriguing. Very well.
So the jars, I would say the jars, like, unless you wanted to, we were hoping to study them further, but if you did really need to destroy them, that might be.
I signed them for you. Yeah, I'm not stupid.
Could you separate out the jars from the other things? I will cast a spell on them to disinfect them. It will look quite aggressive.
Certainly.
Kev likes aggressive.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna look aggressive.
You separate out the
Yeah,
jars,
the
and
jars.
when you give Charles an okay, he ends up. You hear some more muttering, some more incantations from behind the door, and then there is a wall of fire, like a little contained cone of fire that appears and basically blasts down onto the jars.
Oh, that's cool.
It lasts for a good minute and a half, and by the time it is over, you notice that the floor has not taken any singes, any burns, anything like that. And the jars themselves, while they look hot to the touch, the contents inside is completely unchanged.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Do you need to study to learn this? Or can druids learn this?
I mean, I must admit I'm not sure. I am a wizard by trade myself. Though what I just cast, it was a modified version of a monk ability, if I am not mistaken. Some monks, if they are able to study for a long enough time, they're able to harness the power of the elements themselves. And some of them are then able to cast fire from their hands, which is quite intriguing. And so I basically was studying that, and the more I studied and the more I investigated, I learned that the way
Cam's tuned out.
this man is going to keep going.
Fig doesn't want to stop him, but Fig is thinking that sounds fake, but okay.
This man is going to keep going unless he is stopped.
Well,
Fig has
is the
seen
nerd.
the marriage of disciplines between bard magic and necromancy, and this is a stretch too far from him? In a medical context? Incredible. I love Fig
Fig just
a
doesn't
lot.
like monks. He thinks monks are fake.
There are monks at his
Monk
school.
Truther, that's the line!
This is history major on communications major violence.
Also, knowledge gods are the main ones monks go for, so that's even funnier.
Oh, that's so funny.
Erlin had that.
It's so funny it muted Val.
Oh my god.
Meg is a monk truther. I'm just putting that in my notes.
I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, okay, this is... If we're in a very different conversation where I'm not listening to this guy, I'd be like, yeah, monks, so they kick so well, they get powers? Like, what?
I mean, you could still say this under your breath if you wish. They kick so well, they get powers. You know, compared to the mechanical fireflies, which are completely natural.
Yeah.
But those are well documented. Whereas the monks are notoriously secretive about their bullshit.
I mean, to be fair, there was one recorded monk, but unfortunately most of the records about her have disappeared.
Yeah, monk truther.
So this is where it starts.
So anyways, so after years and years of study, I was able to manifest a way from which I could pull key from the fabric of the universe itself. And
okay, so well, this is
can we?
Sorry.
It is fascinating, but it sounds like I'm not going to be able to do that because I can't focus. However, you had questions.
Oh yes, I did. Yes. If you put the things in the corner and you say everything is fine, then I'm going to open this door. Everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
Do not
Great.
destroy the items.
And you start to hear dunk, dunk.
How the fuck did they knock that door so fast? The other guy just ran out of it, right?
And then the last lock is undone and the door opens and you see a halfling man. Or sorry, actually,
hello.
You would see a gnomish man. Very sharp-featured, pointy ears. You see him dressed in a very deep royal blue, sort of coat. It looks like it used to hang down to the floor. However, in current times, he's taken stays and sort of tied it up so that it won't drag against anything. He's clean-shaven for the most part. However, you notice there is one side of his face that has a sprout of hair growing out. And the closer you look, the more you recognize that it might not be that he's clean-shaven, and more that an accident may have occurred. And what was left of his beard is no longer there. You see that he has gray streaks throughout his hair, or maybe that's a bit misleading, and I should be saying that he has colorful streaks throughout his hair, as most of it is gray now.
Salt and pepper. What are you talking about?
Not even salt and pepper, it's salt.
With a hint of pepper.
Yeah, correct.
It's white pepper.
It's white pepper. It's white pepper. And you see a lovely, again, blue, very, very shock of blue streak left in his hair. Oh, wonderful. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Charles Marlow. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. And you watch as he walks. He has a way of walking that is very, very unique, where it's small steps, but very, very quick small steps, where it looks like he's almost skittering across the floor to all of you. Anyways, pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet you. I'm Charles Marlow. You were sent to me by Dr. Moreau, it was. And you see that he adjusts like these tiny, tiny little half moon spectacles.
Hello, Vin.
Yes, Dr. Scotty Moreau. May doesn't remember if we had like a letter or a missive or anything to give to him.
Probably, I'd say you had a note of some sort, some ilk.
Yes.
It's a script.
It's a script. You hand over this just incomprehensible piece of paper, and he's just like, yes, of course. You know,
yes, acetaminophen.
He had to cast some sort of like scrying spell on it to be able to read it.
Yes, doctor's
He's not a
handwriting.
doctor. He's not a doctor.
Comprehend physician.
Comprehend physician.
Yes. Yeah, she was concerned about the city, but now very much we are as well, because I'm sorry. Let me introduce myself. I am let me do my full name. I am Jeff Melistare. It's nice to meet you.
Jeff.
Jeff. Pleasure to meet you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Wonderful man.
Yes.
Jeff.
We were I feel like my concerns are less important than what has happened currently to Baratara, though if you are talking about an illness, I would hopefully we can get a note back to Ironcliff, because
The plague.
they've seemed to have some of this as well.
Oh no. Oh, that's terrible news. I thought the quarantine was working. Well, that's not good. How quickly can you get a letter to Dr. Moreau? Sorry, how long ago did people start showing symptoms?
Right.
Rose forgot how much time has passed, but that amount of time.
It's been 3 days, I think? 2 days?
Yeah, like
Something like
3
that?
days,
No
but
more.
When he says symptoms, does he mean in Ironcliff or in general that we as a party have seen? Because it's longer than 2 days, 3 days if we as a party have seen it. Because Yuka's been sick and Throgan's been sick.
He did not specify.
No, but that was the
to
dog.
Big's mind is like when
That's
Dr.
true.
Huscati has first seen symptoms in Ironcliff.
Okay.
That is what I'm thinking of.
Or,
Yes.
excuse me, Jeremiah was sick with this. We were sick with dog.
Jeremiah was sick, yeah.
Also, Captain. Was it Captain or was it Officer? It was Officer Gingerbeard.
Recruit Gingerbeard, I believe it was.
Gingerbeard.
Gingerbeard.
The man with the Latin.
Yes. She had seen a few cases, in Ironcliff. Some of the officers and whatnot. I think that let's see, it took us maybe like 2 days to get here. Maybe like 5 days ago.
Oh, that's
It's
very not good.
3 to 5, I
Oh,
believe.
that's very not good. Interesting. Okay. Wow,
I will say she didn't seem that concerned about it, but now
you see
I
him
am
fiddling with
very
his
much.
robes, and then he just like pulls out a small river rock that's about the size of his palm. Yeah, could you cancel all incoming and outgoing shipments from Ironcliff? Yes, and please stop any merchants. Yes, wonderful, perfect. Yeah, same situation. Yes. Yeah, no worries. Wonderful. See ya. Ta-ta. And he puts the stone back in like one of his pockets inside the robe.
Mhm.
So I hope they have food stores.
My dad's a farmer, like on the outside of town. I'm sure they'll handle a little while.
Outside of town. He's not been inside town.
Well, he's a farmer. He doesn't go into the city
Well, good.
unless
You
he has
should
to.
tell him not to go inside the city at all. It's going to be in quarantine now.
I don't think that will be an issue.
Wonderful. Anyways, so yes, so if it's been 5 days, there's quite a good chance that whatever is causing the infection has already infected most of Ironcliff. Though I wouldn't be able to be sure. You don't happen to have any taverns with strange effects there, do you?
What?
I'm not certain about taverns. I will let you know we had a odd occurrence happen on our way out of town. One of our companions, who is not here, he had been a little ill. The Dr. Moreau said it was just something little, but they touched the I'm not certain what term maybe you're using for it, but we've been talking about them as like weird black voidy cables.
Weird black voidy cables.
Waiting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I stabbed one, and I pointed at the jar of goo.
Yes. When my companion, this is Chamomile.
What are you talking
No, I'm
about?
Cam. You don't know my full name yet.
I'm sorry, my apologies. And also we had a
Sorry,
you
Jeff,
had
Jeff. Are you feeling
yes,
quite all right? I just want to make sure very, very quickly.
I
I've
am
not seen any
concerned
sort
that
of
this town.
black voidy cables or anything. So I just
Okay,
want to make sure
can
you.
I roll to see if I see any black voidy cables?
Yeah, absolutely. Roll me perception.
20, so not natural.
Chamomile.
Mm-hmm.
Looking around. Okay. Looking around, you would not notice any cables inside of this room.
Mm-hmm.
However, on a 20, you would notice that outside in the ocean, you are able to see a couple of black cables like sneaking and snaking up the barrier, as if it's trying to sort of reach these fireflies that are holding the ocean at bay.
How perceptive are you?
Why would you ask something like that?
Because I find that sometimes I see shit other people don't, and I stabbed it, so it's real. Look at the jar of goo.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Can you look out the window for me, and then I try and point them out?
You can absolutely do this. He'll walk over to the window, or like scurry over to the window, scuttle over to the window. And when you try and point them out to him, he thinks you are pointing at the mechanical fireflies.
No.
What?
A little bit
man.
down, and then out, like away from the building.
Water. Are you looking at the
Okay,
water?
so you can't see them. Okay.
Yuka
Good.
is going to, if he permits, just put a massive, because it's got to be like the size of half of his torso,
Oh yeah.
massive hand on the middle of his back and go, it would be in your best interest to use your wizardry abilities to cast True Sight and gaze upon that which is unseen.
I am imagining
Right at
Yuka.
the foot of the barrier.
I'm imagining Yuka that you've just like leaned yourself completely down to like this far away from his face.
Ha!
The brim of her hat is casting a shadow like the sun has been swallowed to this man.
Phenomenal. He's just looking at you like, that's a smart idea, young lady. Wonderful. Also, wonderful face paint. It's unique. I've not seen it before.
Touch it not. It is ritual.
My apologies. Anyways, and he starts like doing little motions with his hands, mumbling under his breath, and then after a while you see that his eyes flash a very quick yellow, like mustard yellow.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, there's something out there that's quite interesting. Well,
Thank
would
you.
look at that? I've never seen that before in my life.
Yeah, don't touch him.
Yes.
Good
So
to know.
we were
What happened?
I love this
fairly
guy. He's so
concerned
dumb. He's wonderful.
about
This is
them
tenured
that
professor behavior.
Say this in the
We have-
in the tenured professor context, because I had a music professor who was like, "It's a minor key."
This is tenured professor behavior. He got put in charge of the plague result over here just because he had the best brain on his shoulders. They didn't ask in what. Real theoretical degree in physics moment.
Yes. So as you can see, we've been fairly concerned about these cables that we see both in Ironcliff and also, Cam, you've seen them here. Because when
Yes.
Cam stabbed said cable to obtain the goo in said jar, our
That's
companion.
Right? And you see that he casts he motions his hand really quick. And a spectral hand actually appears and picks up the jar holding the goo.
Please don't drop it. We only have
That
one.
goo.
I don't want to like stab another one and get my hands.
No worries,
gross
no
again.
worries. It's less than 5 pounds. It will be fine.
Yes. Our companion. Have you ever heard of tragedium?
Oh, a tragedian, like one of those men from the plays, or
I suppose.
why are you saying it with
One-
an M? Usually I hear it with an N.
I do imagine that's where one of these creatures would have received its moniker or developed it.
Because the goo transformed our companion Jeremiah into one of them. And if I recall what Cam relayed to us,
Replaced type of.
they were,
Just
yeah, puppeting various people.
Intriguing. I've never seen anything of the sort. I don't know of any creature or fae by that name. Do you have an image, a drawing, perhaps?
Can give you one if you give me like 3 minutes, and I'll just zone out and start start drawing.
Yeah, of course. You're absolutely able to do so.
Putting way too much attention into the details because I am prideful about my work.
Do you draw eyes and then have to like scrub the eyes out?
No! What kind of artist do you take me for?
The kind that got me art a couple weeks ago in chat that had eyes. I'm sorry.
That wasn't
bullying
mine.
my OSA players.
Was it mine?
No,
You're
it
such
was
a-
Sunny K.
You are such a jackass. I'm telling
Little-
Mom.
Little brother behavior. I assume she already knows.
I'm telling Mom.
Yeah, you are given time to draw, and he looks and he goes, "No, I've never seen anything of the sort. I have no idea what that could be."
Okay, so I'm gonna draw one, but next to it I'm gonna like sketch myself so he has like an idea of the proportions.
No. That's Osei. That's Valentine can't drink water.
Water is very hard to drink.
For those of you who have played Dungeons and Dragons with me before, you will know that the free space on the bingo card is DM chokes on his water. So there you go. Mark it off.
It's just DM chokes on his drink because it's not always water.
But it is usually water. Apparently it's not usually water. Anyways. No, I don't know what this is.
Yes.
I have no idea what this is.
Yes, Mr. Marlow, the tragedium side of thing is very odd to us as well. But it seems you have a maybe better understanding of this as an illness, because we've had trouble seeing if it truly is one.
I can share what I know, of course. As far as I know, the initial symptom seems to be a cough, a very persistent cough that doesn't really go away. Some of the clerics have mentioned that it appears as a almost a fine powder, like an that shows up on the lungs. Something with not roots per se. Roots is not quite the thing because they're too smooth and too like they don't jag like roots jag. Apparently, it's more of a smooth flow as if it was sculpted.
Cables.
And then I don't know. Perhaps I'm not an artificer myself. I don't know what cables look like. But then there is also the problem of some people, after having a cough for a while, they begin to suffer from memory loss. And when I say suffer from memory loss, I mean a very severe form of it. It appears not suddenly, but very, very quickly when it does start. And after a while, the people who fall victim to this, they cease being able to remember who they are and who their family is and everything about themselves.
That would make a play very boring.
I suppose. Has no one recovered any of their memories after? Are they just? Do you know if they're still ill?
Well,
As they've forgotten?
they are ill, yes. We placed them elsewhere because they had a unfortunate habit of trying to touch people, which seems to be bad for the spread of disease.
Speaking of touching, as I recall, that is one of the core things that is advised you do not do to those things you can now see approaching your Firefly devices.
Yes, that is something you have told me, yes.
Even the surface.
Good to know.
Do not cut.
You mentioned that is why your friend Jeremiah disappeared, I think it was.
Yes, I was not there.
Yes, but one moment he was in front of us. The next, I believe Cam encountered the sort of. Do you recall if it was like a vision or a dreamscape, Cam?
No, they're all kind of the same, just different flavors of weird, which is great. Yeah, there was a whole situation where, how do I?
How do you
Honestly, it was
explain
just
your hot date to this guy?
I
He just had the dreamiest, flattest face, the blackest eyes, and the most delicate, spindly fingers.
No, it
yes,
was kind of a warning / this is inevitable, but you should do something about it. I don't quite know. It was basically presented like it would be a play. If you go to a play, where there's just things that are gonna happen. But we still should do something about it, so
Interesting.
I'm confused.
And they were obviously very concerned about Jeremiah, and they mentioned that he would be returned at some point. We have no way currently to confirm
Fair.
that.
So was he?
Cam's just
kidnapped
gonna
or-
start drawing frantically.
Yeah. What are you drawing, Cam?
Cam had a brainwave, which is there was another thing with Ash,
Mhm.
and Cam's gonna try and draw the best they can from memory, the merchant.
I like it. Yeah, you can absolutely draw the merchant. I will, however, need somebody to roll me a d12. I'm gonna roll me a d12.
I can find me a d12. Is that a
Interesting.
d12?
An 11.
Yes, you are.
Do you want us to also roll d12s, or is it good now? Is it safe now?
I'm not gonna say it's
I don't
safe,
trust-
but you should roll me d12s.
I have
Yes.
8.
I also have an 11.
2 11s and 2 8s. Stop!
Two pair.
Stop making that face!
What do you mean stop making that face?
You know what you're doing!
You,
I'm not crazy!
Crazy.
Cam, you're able to draw the merchant fairly accurately. And if you hand this over to Dr. Marlow, I almost called him Greshnark. That is a different guy. If you hand this over to Dr. Marlow,
Do you remember, like, have you ever heard anything about a guy like this?
a guy like this. Is this a prank, young lady?
Excuse you? Why the fuck would
No.
I be pranking?
Well, you've drawn a
this is-
table and nothing else.
Is this another magic bullshit?
Do we?
I
what
took a look at the
what do
drawing.
we see? What do we see when we
Mhm.
look at this drawing?
You see the merchant
Yeah.
standing behind his table.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
You-
look at my
You still
plan.
have True Sight, correct? Yes.
Yes, it is still active.
Look.
Wait,
Okay,
it's
look at
still
her-
active. And he just like looks up at the paper again.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yes,
Does
no, I
he
see
see-
something here. Sorry, I wasn't wearing my glasses. You see, he like readjusts his glasses. The
He-
true sight
he-
only
he-
helps so much, you must understand.
He flips them over so the moons are on the other side.
They're bifocals, but he has to do it manually. Ah, yes. No, I've never seen anyone like this in my life.
Yes.
Please pray you never encounter him.
But the reason
He's
we
annoying.
mentioned that is that our items that are currently in the
Yes,
corner,
yes.
they were procured through this man, as he's a self-proclaimed merchant.
Ah. That explains the table, yes, of course.
I like how I
will
also
say
just
that
threw
is
the
something
table.
very, very interesting, actually. Because there was stories told by a bard about a merchant who was a real asshole.
Yuka would agree with that.
I
They
look
were
over
quite
to
wonderful
Yuka.
I really enjoyed those stories. That bard was wonderful, had quite a way with the lute. It sounded almost mechanical when she would play it. It was quite phenomenal. Dead for a while, though, unfortunately.
Two gnomes live.
You don't know if it was a gnome.
No, but Doctor, what's his name?
Yes, I
Is
am a
it-
gnome. Yes. Charles Marlow is the name I have selected for Halfling
I-
Society. They tend not to like the names that, just get longer and longer with age, so I just sort of stuck to the first two, because I felt like those two weren't really going to be rescinded.
Okay, good to know. Fascinating tidbit.
Thank you for not asking
gnome
me for my
culture.
full name, because I was not going to know it.
You better have your fucking notes ready next time, buddy.
Oh no. His last name's Fizzlebottom now, you can't stop me.
Descriptive. It's a familial trade name.
mhm.
Yes, he
yes,
comes from the line of brewers. Sarsaparilla brewers.
The head is on the bottom.
But yeah. So, we were wondering, and I suppose if you've been trying to quarantine against said disease, you've had no luck curing it, or at least helping the symptoms.
We haven't found anything that stops them or reverses them, if that's what you're asking. Then again, we've been mostly fighting a war against the ocean here, and as much as we wish to seek for a cure for this public health crisis, we also need to make sure we don't inhale salt water first.
Yes, yes. Of course, do you?
And
I
inhaling
suppose that
salt
is
water.
my other question.
Yes.
Doesn't Baratara usually have procedures in place for the flooding, like the levees or the dikes? I'm uncertain.
So, funny you should mention it. The dike failed.
Oh no!
Oh no.
I'm getting
Which-
Xenon vibes.
That place doesn't exist here. What are you talking about, Rose?
I know.
We are currently on our, backup plan, which is every wizard and any other magically inclined person in the city assists in creating a barrier, which we will slowly, about a meter a day, push back towards the ocean. This would give time for anyone with construction experience or any sort of molding ability like you have here, ma'am. I still don't know your name, miss. Cam. No, you did introduce yourself as Cam. Yes, hello. Like Cam here has, to basically just raise our city enough so it would be above sea level.
Okay. Every time this guy calls Cam Miss or she, my features become slightly more androgynous.
He's gonna take off his bifocals, flip them. Sorry, young man. I didn't understand.
Your Adam's apple is like whoop, whoop, whoop.
But yes. So that's currently the plan we're on. There is a problem. We currently don't have enough magic users that are not ill to actually maintain the barrier. So we kind of have to keep just giving the sea more space, because we'd rather have people protecting what is still dry than getting all of our mages ill and then losing all of it to the sea. You must understand, we're in quite a balanced, delicate situation here.
Yeah, I can.
Have
mention
you
that.
tried wearing a mask?
What? What's that?
The stuff on your face so you don't inhale any of the ash. And if you don't,
They're
touch
more
people-
concerned about the water. The water
Yeah, but
cam. They don't want to get in the.
Have
No,
you
I-
been able to determine what the primary means and additional possible means of transmission of this condition happen to be?
I am advising that we follow basic infection principle, specifically similar to some of the. Can I say the word tuberculosis? That's not tied to a place name, is it?
No, that was John tuberculosis.
Currently following tuberculosis guidelines because that's sort of the strictest ones we knew on file. But it's not stopping. We think we have found something. Every so often, we do send out crews to sail the flooded parts of the city, looking for survivors, looking for lost items, things like that. Anything that can help us. The fishermen still go out. Obviously, we still need to have food. There is an area near the center. It's just a short 10-minute walk away from the old naval headquarters. There appears to be an aura of illness around it. And any fishing crew that goes too close, any rescue crew that goes too close, everyone tends to come back coughing. So that's sort of the only outstanding curiosity we have right now, but nobody can really get close to it because they will get ill and we can't really risk that right now. Other than that, we have the sick ward, which I could point you to if that is something you wanted to investigate. Again, most people there have lost their memories or are in the process of losing their memories, so I'm not entirely sure how useful it would be. But maybe you would be able to talk to them, receive some information. You all seem like smart young folk.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How old's this guy?
He is mostly gray.
Anyway, I made a portrait because I thought it was good.
I love him. You got his beard perfect.
Anyway.
Look at that chat. Free art.
He just was in my mind. I had to get him out.
I shouldn't be in there. That's a very bad place for me to be.
Yes, we may consider that an option, but I am very concerned about your what you said about the ocean problem. Do you know? Have you reached out to some of the other cities? I know Hawkshire is just up the river. I don't know if you've had any contact
Oh yes, I
with
was
them.
just on the stone with them. We've been sorry. We've been communicating with them fairly efficiently. They know that we're under quarantine right now, and therefore the reason that we are not receiving aid because we are afraid that any contact with any of their aid crews would actually infect Hawkshire, and that would be quite dangerous for the rest of the continent. But
sorry,
what to do?
Stream. The stream to me just went like black.
Oh no!
For a second.
Oh
no.
dear!
But
it's doing it to
is
me
back
too now. Wait.
Yeah, I see that.
Oh, this is bad. This is bad. This is bad. Hang on.
It pops in and out, so now it's back.
Yeah, it's just the video. It's just our video. It's not
just the video.
your own
Okay, that's
screen.
fine. Just the video
Yeah.
I can work with because I was having this issue last week too. And I did actually figure out what it was, and I'm doing a thing that is directly aggressing my computer. So don't worry. Anyway, you may continue if you wish.
Yes. But I see two paths in a road, and both of them are bad.
If we were to go out to further investigate the illness, do we get the sense that protection from poison and disease would be sufficient enough to defend us against developing the illness?
Can you say that for me one more time?
Would casting a spell, so like protection from poison and disease, would that be sufficient enough to keep us from getting sick were we to investigate the infection spots?
Now, one of you is going to need to look this up for me. I think protection from poison and disease lasts for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's not terribly long.
So what protection
At
from
most,
poison
it's like
and
an hour.
would do is it would protect you from infection for the time that spell lasts.
Okay. It lasts an hour though.
Then you would have an hour of time where you could not be infected.
I may have made up a spell that doesn't exist.
Protection from poison and disease does exist, I'm pretty sure. It might only be a paladin
or
cleric.
I think it's just protection from poison.
Yeah.
Oh. Well. Then it might not work and I would need to check the wording.
You did For the
You
duration,
touch-
the target has advantage on saving throws against being poisoned and resistance to poison damage.
Then no, it would not affect it.
Yeah.
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
We have detect poison and disease.
I should
That's
say,
the 10-minute
actually,
one.
I'm gonna actually change my answer on that one. You don't know if it would work.
Yeah.
You would know
'Cause-
that if this is truly a disease, that the spell would not work. However, you do not know if you would encounter any sort of poison. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Great. I'm glad that makes sense.
We hate goo diseases that we don't know if they're actual diseases.
Well, now. Anyways, I am going to say that we're about to wrap up stream here. We're about to wrap up session here because it has been 3 hours. I think my players also sort of know this. So yeah, any sort of directional conversation you guys want to have on where to go would be much appreciated so that I can start prepping those.
Okay. Fig, to Fig, what are the 2 biggest problems that need to be solved? Because he I think has the most information out of the 4 of us.
I would say 1, just the ocean Baratara. Because that's an immediate problem. And then I think a long term, or at least like that we should definitely learn is like, I'd like to try to find an origin point, or just more about try to DM because we have a name, and that might be both of those together. So I would
very
say
interested
maybe,
about this circle of sickness.
yeah, if we are like in the library, I would say maybe like our long rest could be like me researching, and then we go out and try to visit the disease.
I'd allow you to give me a
thing.
research roll during your 2 hours of like quote unquote watch time.
And like, I don't know if anybody wants to like in the next session to try to talk to said amnesia people. I don't know if that would be helpful at all.
A great way to get touched and screw ourselves out of a fun side quest.
I want to see if a couple of the spells that we've learned since we leveled up would help to not completely cure, but to alleviate some of the worst of the symptoms. Like, how much would that help? Like, how far gone is too far gone for this condition?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think our next steps are talking to said other people in the library, learning what we can from the library, and then I don't know if we can get to said disease spot in town next or not.
I will tell you right now, you would be able to utilize a boat. Charles Marlow likes you guys well enough to let you guys borrow a gondola or a little rowboat or something to let you guys get to where you want to be.
Would we, in canon, before we begin, before we wrap up, can I ask Charles a question?
Yeah, of course. Yes. What's your question, young lady? You are a lady, right? Not like the other one. That's like changing.
What are you talking about? You just shouldn't assume things.
Mr. Marlow, this is Lady Yuka of the woods. Perhaps back up 2 steps.
Holds out his hand.
She will take it.
Shake. Drops your hand.
Among the many things that I am, the core is that I am the Witch of the Woods and the steward of the Lord Bestial and Lady Verdant. I have given them temporary leave such that I may investigate this condition, which seems to afflict everything. Certainly. And I need to know more about it so that I can prevent it from entering my woods. More so than it already has.
Roll the dice. Great. Don't worry about it. The dice was rolled.
The inventor who created the devices outside that protect this library.
Yes, yes.
Does she happen to have more that we might be able to use?
I would need to check the lifespan of a gnome, because I think I have forgotten that. I believe it is around 350 years or 500 years, in which case, yes,
Yeah,
probably, but I would
pretty
need to talk to
true.
her. However, oh say.
You are stuck on the frame when you started sneezing.
No!
And now
However,
you're
on the chance
slumped
that it
over
is-
and back up.
However, on the chance
You
that it
were-
is- Yes.
Say you are exactly correct. They can live 350 to almost 500 years.
Then yes, I just need to speak with them. They are a bit of a wild cannon, though, so I don't know what's going to happen there.
Hmm.
In all likelihood, I can get you a
Interesting.
few. Why? How many do you need?
Enough to surround our party.
Okay, I'll try and source you 6 or 7.
Thank you.
Any other way I can help? A cola, perhaps?
What?
A cola.
Um,
Like
What
a
is
drink,
that?
but it
Have-
fizzes, but it's not alcoholic.
provisions here to spare. We would be grateful.
Oh, certainly, yes, I can take you to the... You're certain you're uninfected?
If there is testing that you or another physician in this building can conduct to confirm that we are not carrying anything transmissible.
Well, no, I did detect poison and disease, and there was nothing, so... yes, I can take you to your room if you wish, and feel free to grab the items. I'd prefer if you'd leave the jars. I'll get some of my people to grab the jars, if that's okay.
Very understandable, Mr. Marlow.
And then I'll show you
Right.
upstairs, and you can have a bunk. It's completely fine. So, that is where we'll end the session. I do have one question for people before you leave. Do you take anything out of this room? Cam, I know you have the book that you had picked up.
Yeah, I'm gonna borrow it, and I'm sure I'll return it at some point.
Completely fine. It's a library. Anyone else grabbing anything?
He said we. Did he say we could pick up our items, or if he?
He
Yeah.
said
Guess
you should
we'll
leave the
leave now.
jars, because he wanted to
The
grab
jars.
the jars.
No, I am repicking up my book. I am taking that with me. Thank
Cheers.
you, please.
Yep, you can have a book. Do you want to do anything with that book?
I might private message you some things. Yes.
Dope. Then
Yeah.
you are all going
Cam
to
also
have-
wants to look at like the face bone thing.
Yeah, of course. So what I will do right now is you all are going to have a long rest. During this time, feel free to make sure you are level 3, make sure everything is reset. Those of you
Yeah,
who
how are we gonna
currently-
do that? We can't go into the VTT. Nothing changed.
Nothing changed. It's fine. I will try and get that fixed for the next session. Those of you who are holding magic items, which at this point I think it is only you, Cam. Because I don't think Yuka has any right now.
No.
No, 'cause the
Yeah.
Like she's
the-
nothing except the latent magic that's in her.
Yep, and Fig, your book does not require attunement, I know. So, Cam, you're going to look at that jawbone. It's a pewter jawbone, shape of like a canid lower jaw. You, looking at it for a minute, would be able to recognize that it is a magic item that requires attunement if you wish to use it, which could be done during any short or long rest. If you want any additional information on it, I'm going to need you to roll me an Arcana check.
Yeah. Oh, 17.
Yes, so you would be able to recognize that this is going to need a attunement in order to work for you, and then once it does, once you are attuned, it would stay active for the time you remained attuned to it. You are also going to notice that the way that it has been made when you wild shape, it would wild shape with you. Like, you would not have any issues wild shaping while it is on or anything like that. And may even give you boons while in your wild shape. The only other thing, you notice two other things. One is that it is likely going to be of use to you. Knowing that it is from the merchant and knowing the way that Throgan's alchemy set works, it is likely going to complement your existing skill set in some way, shape, or form. In the sense that it seems very tailored to you. Like, just sort of holding it up to your jaw, you're able to notice that all of the curves, all of the indents match your standard tiefling appearance. And even the way that it, like, locks onto the jaw is, it's not held on by a strap or by a chain or anything. Rather, it is so snug that it just sits there and moves with you. On a 17, you will notice one other thing, which is that this item may or may not be cursed. However, you have no idea what that would do to you, or do in general.
Yeah. This night I'm not gonna tune to it because I've been told to think things through before I do them. And I rarely actually listen to Honey, but this time I'm gonna.
Completely fair, you will not attune to it. Fig, you are going to do some research tonight.
Yes.
What I want you to do is I want you to roll me a d20 and tell me what your question is, but you will not get an answer today. You will get an answer next session.
Okay. Is it just probably the time I have? It's only like really like one thing that I can ask.
It depends on your question.
Which dice? Got a blue, red, a green. Got a blue, red,
Tell me your question first, would you? Like, what are you researching?
It's, I believe, more history than history/religion. So one, since it has been mentioned, the iconography on my sensor that is a deity that I currently sort of know some information about, and in that vein, that I also don't know Tragedium, and other people don't seem to know it as a sort of deity. So maybe I'm searching for things that sound similar to what it is doing.
I will give you...
I could ask questions about the merchant, but I don't think I'm going to, because whatever. He's not written in books.
Okay, I will give you one of those two. You can either look at the sensor iconography or you can look at Tragedium.
Yeah.
Because they are both big questions.
Yep. I'm thinking personal quest is currently not the time for that. So I will be looking for the Tragedium. I would say like either references or like we have thought about it being more like Fae type. So I think I'm looking for more like, I would say like something that's like puppeteering others in a sense. I think that's because I think names are often like weird goo that's going to be weird, but puppeting other people and amnesia might be a good thing to look out for.
Sure.
Hi, dice. Be nice to me.
Alright, and then what are you going to roll for me? You can roll me... I want you to roll me history on this one. And do you have proficiency in history?
Yes, I do.
You may take expertise in that. No, you may take advantage on this roll.
Okay, got me a few more points. So that is, I believe, 15.
Great. You will get the answer to that query at the next session, because that's going to be a thing that I need to plan. So, with all of that being said, it is time for us to talk a little bit out of game and about what you guys can expect. So, first of all, Sunny K, I want you to open up the Twitch and I want you to start watching the stream. Because I'm about to bully my older sister. The next thing that's going to happen is I would like all of my lovely, lovely players the chance to plug themselves if they wish. Go on ahead.
Hey, sunnyk.bandcamp.com. Also, youtube.com/NaliseRPG.
Yes, you can find,
Ko-fi and Patreon for Nalise.
you can find all of our past broadcasts on Elise RPG, along with some additional YouTube-only videos. And yeah, if you want to know our streaming schedule, please check out Patreon or Ko-fi at Nalise. You can unlock every post there, or almost every post there, for free just by hitting the follow button. There are a couple of like handouts and things that you would get if you pay, but don't pay if you don't have money. Please. In addition to that, I will let you all know that I am going to post the stream schedule for August, hopefully next Sunday. I can tell you right now that there will not be a stream from us on the 4th of August, and we will also not have a campaign stream on the 11th of August. Things are happening, IRL things that are just meaning we're not going to be online. Hopefully we are back for the 18th. I have no idea at this point. That is why you should check me out on Patreon or Ko-fi if you do want that stream schedule. All of that being said, we hope you enjoyed today. I hope your next games go well. And I'm going to actually send you guys on a raid over to a dear friend of mine who is playing in a Fallout RPG game right now. If I can remember how the raid commands work. So, and also if I can remember what channel we're streaming on. So, with all of that said, I hope your games go well. I hope everything is lovely, and we'll see you all next time. Ciao.
Off Baratara, shining shores, fine sailing folk are we. The line between the sea and sky, our only boundary. On crashing waves and even tides, we'll navigate the sea. Steadfast our mission in our minds to keep these waters free.